Did you promise yourself you'd do better in the studio this year? Perhaps make more meaningful art or begin that special project you had in mind? If you are struggling just to get into the studio, or once you get in there you really don't know what to do, you can take action now to make this the best 12 months in your studio. I'm showing you what I do while I continue creating my 8 Rhema Derivative works. These works are a part of my 52 abstracts I'm aiming to finish by the 31st of May 2024. You can see all of my works so far in that series by clicking on the link in the description. If you haven't already done so, why don't you pause this video and go back and watch the previous one to see what I did to get to this point. I've put the link in the description. Then please come back. October 2022 found Bill and I emerging from a 10-month grind of living in the midst of a chaotic home repair. I had to close my art studio in order to full-time project manage the repair and restoration of half of the floors in our home. I was eager to get ready for my best life personally and in the studio. The system I'm showing you is adapted from the Momentum Planner, created by Charlie Gilkey at Productive Flourishing. The link is in the description. Looking at the prior year can help you better determine the direction for a better chance of getting to where you want to get by the end of the year. So with my 2022 looking forward review in hand, it was time to look forward to 2023. Bill and I agreed that our overall focus for the year was restoration and personal renewal. All that I wanted to achieve would defer to that aspiration, including our overarching goals of 1. Completing restoration of our home inside and out. 2. Growing a private community on my website. And 3. Creating lots of art. Next, faith and love were important alongside our theme of restoration and thriving. My 2023 challenge would be to renew my arts practice. Our son and his family flying in from overseas was something for which we wanted to prepare and plan around. Next, I dispersed the achievements for the year into the 4 quarters. We're still in summer holiday mode in New Zealand until early February, so I apportioned a chunk of the first quarter to finishing our future TV room and contemplating the logistics of relaunching my channel and website. A finished home would help Bill and I do life together more easily when he went back to teaching and I returned to my studio. In quarter 2, my objectives were to devote weekends to finishing the interior. Professionally, I would relaunch YouTube, make 16 works of art, and prepare 5 videos ready to go by the time of the relaunch. I wanted to relaunch the Charles Bard video series, which was currently on hiatus, sometime in the 3rd quarter. I wanted to make works for ILT and very large works in preparation for the 2024 Queenstown Art Show. I also would continue my campaign to complete the interior finishes on the weekend. The 4th quarter in New Zealand is the end of the school year and the business year. So Bill and I take our Christmas and summer break about halfway through December. There are lots of graduations, weddings, and year-end get-togethers. My only aspirations were to have finished our home interiors and to have created lots of art by then. With my newly created general yearly plan, I can forge ahead on a more specific quarterly plan. Because our New Zealand first quarter is largely occupied with summer break, I'm showing you how I plan the 2nd quarter. First, I transfer my yearly goals, adding a specific new goal to relaunch my YouTube channel. Then I add quarterly objectives from my yearly plan onto the quarterly grid. I found it helpful to include holidays in the major events box as well. For instance, Easter is the last major New Zealand holiday before winter sets in. Anzac Day is a government holiday, and I like to be aware of Bill's school term breaks because I can take breaks from the studio at the same time. Now I distribute my quarterly goals over the 3 months. For April, I plan to relaunch my channel, finish 4 artworks, paint the TV room and hall, and start an email program. I'll also be considering the work that I want to make for the Invercargill Licensing Trust Art Awards, an exhibition in the 3rd quarter. In May, I'd complete 4 more works and continue weekend work on our interior home, and begin making artwork for the ILT. June is a replica of May. there's no need to be concerned about the less populated grid. It leaves room for bringing unfinished and emerging projects forward. Then I consider the major steps or milestones needed to complete the targets for April, May, and June. Now I'm showing the benchmarks for April. This shows what was done to indicate progress and is entered after the month is completed. The quarterly reflection on the next page is helpful. It helps you acknowledge your successes and think about your challenges and ways that you can improve what happened. Knowing what I want to do each month is extremely helpful in my practice, so I recommend making the extra effort to plan your time in the studio, at least to this point, at a minimum. I find knowing what I want to achieve motivating when I return to the studio when Bill returns to school in late January. I often don't take my planning beyond this basic point until I get to the second quarter. Remember, you don't have to do this perfectly. Forecasting your time in the studio is sort of an art in itself. Don't beat yourself up if you don't do it perfectly. In fact, you won't. Not every idea that comes into your head works well for you when confronted with the realities of your life, and that's okay. You can assess later if it's important to pursue that idea that you've postponed. The point is to have a pretty good idea of where you want to head. Then, every day, take one action forward in the studio. I began these Rhema Derivative works way back in early September 2023, alongside other work I was completing. The progress was spot on per the plan that I had crafted back at the end of 2022. Returning to these works in 2024, after a scheduled 6-week break over our summertime Christmas and vacation, brought fresh eyes, sparking fun, offbeat ideas for finishing them. I'm really surprised and delighted with the results. What do you think? Next time, I'll show you how I take these quarterly and monthly plans I made and then use them to supercharge studio progress by crafting my weeks and days. Please like this video, and I'd be delighted if you'd subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I upload my next video. Thank you so much for watching. And now I recommend you watch this.